Cairo's Saladin Citadel, a medieval Islamic fortification which crowns the rock massif of Mokattam, is considered to be one of Cairo's most popular tourist attractions. In the very same neighbourhood, at the foot of the cliffs, lies a less agreeable district of Egypt's capital, a place called Manshiyat Naser, a place where the untouchables live in a city of their own, better known as Garbage City. Mariusz Dybich is one of the rare volunteers who has, for the last 20 years, been bound to this place and its people.
We don't fit in these streets anymore with all this garbage. In 1969, the garbage collectors of Cairo lived in the Imbaba district, on the other side of the Nile. When the capital started expanding to Imbaba, the center of the city became too close to that place. The mayor ordered them to move out. Within one day, the bulldozers razed their barracks to the ground, and all the collectors were transported under the rocks of Mokattam, the place where we stand now.
At first, it was a place where local beggars would sort through the garbage looking for leftovers. With time, the recycling of refuse became a source of revenue for the poor and an indispensable resource of a rapidly growing city, which today numbers over 17 million people. Every morning at the crack of dawn, thousands of rubbish collectors leave Garbage City and spread throughout the city. They collect over 13,000 tons of rubbish from nearly 17 million residents, returning to bring the refuse into their homes. From plastics to cans, families typically specialize in a particular type of garbage, which they sort and sell. 90% of the families are Christian. Although Christianity arrived in Egypt with St. Mark the Apostle, today the vast majority of Egyptians are Sunni Muslims. Only 10 to 15% of Egypt's 83 million people are Christian. Most of them are Coptic Orthodox. The Coptic Catholic community is represented by some 200,000 faithful. Christians are easily identifiable by a cross tattooed on their arm. Small children are tattooed so they do not forget about their roots. As a minority community, Christians are often subject to severe discrimination. Here too, as religious beliefs prevent Muslims from handling refuse, the trash trade fell to the disadvantaged Coptic Christians, so that today over 60,000 live from garbage segregation. The overpowering smell of decomposing waste became a protection, allowing the Christian community to keep and practice their religious faith.
Look at the esteem they have for the holy pictures. Any holy picture found in the garbage, taken from a calendar, will never be recycled but hung on a wall. Here is Shenouda, the Coptic patriarch.
There was, however, no one to bring spiritual care for a population caught in the mud, and a degeneration.
They felt rejected by God. They began to degenerate more and more by smoking hashish and drinking alcohol made out of dates. They shot each other because almost everyone had a gun. Lynching became common. A certain Christian man from the district Shubra noticed a cross on a man's arm who was taking the garbage from his home. He became interested in him and began to question him about where he lived, if he had experienced God, if he was a believer or not. And this garbage man, a simple illiterate, asked that man, who was called at that time Ibrahim Farahad, to come to his place, because nobody knew God over there. There was no church, no catechesis either. So Ibrahim Farahad reached the garbage city with him, walking 4 kilometers in mud and swarms of flies, in addition to the smell which took his breath away. On one street he saw around 600 children running everywhere. They were all Christians, which you could notice by their way of dressing.
The utter abandonment of these people deeply moved his heart. He realized the urgent need of bringing God's dignity and love to those caught in the mire, people living in cardboard huts.
On the 13th of April, 1974, Ibrahim Farahad felt a kind of crisis of his vocation. He thought, God, what am I doing here alone? I'm barely a drop in the sea of needs in this huge district. At the moment when Farahad prayed, holding his hands up, a piece of paper fell down onto his chest. He snatched it in the middle of a billowing cloud of debris. God's providence had ensured that it was a page from the Bible, torn into pieces, from the Acts of the Apostles, with a description of a dream that St. Paul had. Do not be afraid. Preach in this city, because I have many people here. With this piece of the Bible in hand, he went together with his confessor to the Coptic Patriarch Shenouda. The Patriarch said, "This is a letter coming from heaven for you." In 1976, Ibrahim was officially ordained as the first priest of the garbage city in Egypt. He took the name Samaan after Saint Simon. He preached his first catechists in a small cave, which could only fit 25 people. Later was created a huge cave, which gathers several thousand people.
This seemingly impossible task was questioned, as well as whether the garbage collectors were worth all the effort. But Father Samaan said that one day there would be 20,000 people in Garbage City who would come to that church. Much has changed on Mokattam mountain. The cardboard huts have been torn down and replaced by brick buildings. Streets once flooded with sewage have been paved. Children still play in the garbage, but now there are signs of hope through the presence of schools and clinics. The efficiency of the recycling has also received international recognition. 80% of Cairo's garbage is recycled here.
We have to move forward. It is impossible to pass through.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
In '97, when I came here with my car, I and Father Samaan, we were the only ones having cars. Nobody had a car. Everybody else were using donkeys, and now we cannot fit in here.
Father Samaan is still the spiritual father, guardian and judge for the people of Garbage City, as he loves, guides and admonishes them to a better life.
Pray. Pray with complete honesty. Beware if you have become wasted because of money or relationships, lust or bad company has destroyed your character. Pray and be obedient to the Holy Spirit.